G'day, my name's James. I've been building a train layout for the last few years and I've had a problem with storing my stuff. So I thought I'd make a video. And first of all, I thought I'll write down some important points I've found that if I started again, I would actually make as priorities. And one of those things is to make sure when storing tools and materials that I actually categorize it so it's easy to find, so I don't spend half an hour looking for it. I also want to make it when I'm doing the project, I'm at the workbench, and my workbench is like an island in the middle of the room. I can view my paints or inks or pastels and I can see everything that's there, so I don't have to actually remember where to find something. I also want it accessible, so I don't have to get up and get out of the chair and go and get stuff. I can actually access it there all the time. They're my priorities, and there's other things I want as well, and that is to have it so the workbench is not a storage space and that it's kept clean most of the time. So when you walk into the train room and you want to start a new project, you've got a clean slate, and it's more motivating when you can start from a bench that's not full of tools and materials. Also want, when I'm running trains, to have most of those tools and materials to be invisible or not in sight. So I want to try and have that so it's reduced or not seen. And also I want to keep the room dust proof, or where possible, less dust. I don't want to spend the time cleaning models and track of dust. Now I've tried to take these priorities and have some solutions for some of them, and I've learned a few things from other forums as well and try to put those in place. So let me show you that, and I'll give you a bit of a tour on my room. So welcome to my train room, and you'll see, as I said before, it's a 12 by 14 room with the track running around the whole end of the walls of the room, and you have a duck under, which you can duck under, or we can use the motorized switch and into the room. And you'll see mostly that go from daylight, and then it goes around to the night scene over there, and the workbench at the center is where I do most of the work on, and it's got the drawers on either side, and that's what I use for storage when storing things. And underneath the bench, the night scene track, I've got a large bench with drawers where I keep all the bulkier items in there. You could say, why don't you put more shelves and boxes all under the track underneath? I'm trying to avoid that because I just think it's a little claustrophobic. I like the space to get underneath for wiring, etc. And I've decided to put most of my materials and tools up above. As you can see, let me move in a little bit and put a bit more light on the subject. And you can see I've got spray cans and inks and paints and the pastels and so forth up there, and I can access them from sitting at the desk on some of them. So when you come to sit at the desk, you might say, well, it's hard to get to these inks up here, so I've made it possible so you could actually lift or pull these down to the space you need. Whether you stand at the desk or sit, you can have them at the level you want, and this gives you the oils, the pencils, the brushes, chalks and other inks that you might need, and you can adjust the light to where you want it. And I just use pulleys, and I could take half of these out and they stay in the same position because of the way the pulleys are constructed. I've done a tutorial on how to make that, and you can check that out on the website. And also, I could be here at the desk and painting away and think, why don't I run some trains? And so I can put that right up and just lift them up. out of the way, and turn the light off there, and you're in a space where a lot of things are out of the road and you can run the trains. I've got other things, and on the cards we talked about keeping things so I can view things, so I can see even my inks and my glues, matte mediums and the pastels and pigments over there. So I can see a lot of things on these shelves, and they're sort of just on a couple of beams or 3 beams that go across, and I just put another shelf in, or these little metal ones where I can just put a lot of little bottles in, which are very handy. And there's quite a lot of things up here. There's pencils and pastels over here as well. The strainers, hairdryer. I've also got this air compressor tube, and the good thing about that is I can use my airbrush off that air compressor. I can pull the pipe down because the most of it's on a reel inside the roof space, and I can use my remote here to turn the compressor on, turn it off, and I can also, if I have a bit of a mess on the bench here, I've got a vacuum pipe system, and I've done a bit of a tutorial written up, and you can read that on the website also. And there's 5 spots where you can pull these out from around the layout and reach any area. And you can just turn on the vacuum. And what I've done is put the vacuum in the other room, so it takes all the dust out of this room and into the other space in the dust bin. And I just turn it on and clean whatever you need to clean. And when you're finished, it just goes up by itself and closes off. And you turn it off, and you can also, I don't know if I mentioned, you can get a tutorial about that as well, and that helps me at least keep this desk more cleaner, because most of the things are up here. I can quickly put them away, and then we can start a new project. And that's how I store my stuff. Thanks.
Bye.